Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Marsh Parker.
And I'm Jaime and Fuego. Gracias for joining our discussion about this new Ghostbusters movie, guys. That's right, Paul Feig, if I'm pronouncing his name right.
I believe so.
Hopefully. So he's done stuff like Spy and Bridesmaids before, but this is his first time jumping on and tackling like a major property. And so, since we have a lady present, and this is a new, lady starring as the Ghostbusters, so a different take on it, but still kind of loosely a remake nonetheless.
It is definitely a reboot of the series, but it's not quite what everyone expected, or at least, in my opinion, not as bad as everyone expected. So
there's so much hate about this movie,
there
and
really was.
Needless, in my opinion, too.
Yeah.
Wait till you see it, make up your own mind, right, Marcia?
Yeah, I will have to admit, I was a hater. Like, from day one, I'm like, how are you going to redo this movie? How are you going to reboot this movie? I was even like, really? Why are they all girls? And I think it just comes to the whole fact that we grew up with the Ghostbusters. We're so excited about them. We love them. And for them to redo a movie that we grow up loving, it's a big pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's
it really
near and
is.
dear nostalgia for us. And so I think that's why so many people got needlessly ticked off. But I think people might be surprised about this being a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, let's just give our overall impressions real quick.
Yeah.
Marshall, we kind of got yours. I enjoyed the movie, like, to an extent, I should say, because it was definitely a mixed bag for me. I will say that the stuff from the trailers is the stuff I liked the least in the movie. Like, it was really nice that there was other stuff that was actually entertaining me that I was like, oh, well, they were poor trailers. They were really bad. But overall, it ended up being a fun Paul Feig movie. And that's what it was. It was really a Paul Feig Ghostbusters movie. It wasn't so much just a Ghostbusters movie, because it had a lot of the Feigisms, if that's such a word.
It did, but I felt like it really started strongly like a Ghostbusters movie. They set the tone, in my opinion, with the opening scene similar to the original film very well, and it wasn't all laughs, which I liked.
Although there were laughs right up front with the tour guide, who is played by a gentleman that's on Silicon Valley and was on The Office. He was hilarious, and he also set sort of the scary tone as well. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. It was a good setup. It was like, okay, cool, it's Ghostbusters, here we go. And then I sort of just sat back and enjoyed the ride, although the back third of it I did not like as much.
Same here. Yeah, I thought the film kind of fell apart, and I was losing interest once they started full-on fighting ghosts. When they were training, assembling the team, I thought all the ladies had good chemistry with one another, and even though some of the laughs really fell flat for me, there were others where I laughed my ass off, and I was like, that was a quality, little beat in the storytelling and in the comedy. So
I have to say, I absolutely love this movie, to the fact that I would actually buy it and rewatch it. It was super fun for me. It really hit home the whole Ghostbuster feel that I had fallen in love in the first movies, and the first, I guess since this is a reboot, I'd just say the original movies. And I love the fact that, even though I was a hater about the women, I really thought they were a great fit. I thought they did a great job casting them. I felt their background stories were entertaining, and their chemistry between all the different characters made sense, and
they were all
I really
vastly
liked
different
it.
too.
Yeah.
And they weren't analogs of the first four, I don't feel like.
No, they weren't. They were completely their own character, which I really applaud them for. And, I don't want to sound like, oh, women, whatever, but I love the fact that it was very smart, science-based women. I think that would really regenerate that whole thing that we're pushing right now, which is to get little girls wanting to be into science. Science is fun, and Ghostbusters made it fun, and that women can do it, and they can be smart about it.
And that was actually one of the stronger script points, in my opinion, was that they kept going back to the science.
Exactly.
And whether or not it was movie science, it didn't matter, because it came across like they would use really big scientific terms when they were talking to normal people, and like, what's unclear about that? And it's like,
speak English.
And that was funny to me. It's like, okay, that's cool. Like, they aren't only smart when they need to be in the script. Like, they're smart the whole way through.
Right.
And that was a neat little thing. And like you said, it is nice that, like, I've heard stories that little girls are getting up and dancing in the aisles of the theaters and stuff like that, and that's good to hear. I think a good way to transition into the acting is one of the things that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be was Leslie Jones's character. I thought she was going to be super over-the-top ghetto street chick, like, ooh, I know the streets of New York and all this stuff. And there was a degree of that,
a little bit,
but not much more than they actually showed in the trailer.
No.
And it was nice because she was actually a welcome addition. I felt.
Yeah.
She played her part well when they were interacting with each other.
And she was smart on her own, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, she wasn't
just
a
different
scientist,
type of smarts,
but she was still able to put 2 to 2 together, and she was a very strong character and a strong role model as well. I feel like all 4 of those characters were very strong role models.
But honestly, the strongest for me, and I have to agree with something Cecil mentioned right after we left, was Kate McKinnon really shined in her weirdness in this. Seriously, because
really
I feel like the other
character.
2 were kind of playing it straight a little bit. You know, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, and they were both funny. Their interactions were funny, but it was with the 2 of them that I felt like some of the humor occasionally fell flat and just didn't hit.
Yeah, but Kate McKinnon, like you said, I mean, outside of the wig and hat moment that we saw in the early trailer, she was really great because you kind of have to see the movie to understand the context of some of the things that we saw in those early trailers, but also to understand why her character would do something silly like that. And it's not actually silly to her. Like, she genuinely thought it might have been a good look for her. Like, that's what's kind of funny about her, and she created this whole character where she's super pumped about creating these gadgets.
She's a mad scientist.
She really is. That's a great way to put it.
As you find out big time in the post-credits, because please stay till the very end, because there's a fun
There is a
bit.
post-credit scene,
I really enjoyed it. I know that the ghosts were super CG, but...
That was one of my bads.
I loved that. I loved them. I still thought it was very Ghostbustery.
I mean,
some of them were a little much, but other times I thought it was a lot of fun.
When they were up close, it looked really cool, because it looked like people, just with a sort of ethereal glow. But when there's so many of them flying around, that's where it looks bad. That's where it's too much.
Still way better than the original Ghost villains.
I don't know. The library ghost from the first Ghostbusters still holds up. And that's why I think the close-up stuff in this one looked good too. But when you get further away, then it just looks kind of silly and gamey.
Other acting we have to mention, though, is Chris Hemsworth, Mr. Thor, was cracking me up constantly. He was one of the funniest additions.
It was so nice to see him be able to sort of cut loose. That they took the leash off him. And I don't know that he's necessarily had a leash on her if he's just never had a chance to sort of flex his comedy muscles.
I hear he's one of the only funny things in that Vacation remake.
That's entirely possible. But he was great in this. I mean, just the himbo status was so funny. You know, he also had sort of a genuine heart. He really kind of wanted to help out too, so that was pretty funny. It was very obvious how things were going to play out from the trailers.
Truly, but they did give a little much away. But as far as bad acting goes, I didn't like the villain. I thought the villain, not to spoil too much, but...
I kind of liked how there was a bit of a dichotomy where he had to sort of keep his exterior veneer for people that he saw along the way, but then he'd have little asides to himself, like,
interesting
apocalypse can't come soon enough. You know,
it kind of reminds me of the old cartoon where you would have those type of villains, where he was a very cartoony villain.
He was a human trying to unleash ghosts on the world. It wasn't like a big sort of... And I'm purposely
He's like a paranormal terrorist, man.
I'm purposely not giving things away here, but he sort of was orchestrating things, but he didn't have necessarily special powers or anything like that.
No,
so that was
the knowledge.
At least not at first, but
Now we hit on most of the acting. Let's talk about the cameos real quick. We won't. Everyone knows that most everyone cameos in the movie,
except for Ramis,
and also
Rick Moranis
as well.
Exactly. It was one of the funniest bits of those first 2 movies.
I think my favorite cameo was at the end.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Here.
We won't say which one because it's better to not know when you're going to get everyone, but they do appear, and it's kind of fun when they do. And that's the thing. There was the end, and then there's the very end. So like a couple of them appear towards the end.
That's true.
Yeah, right.
That is true. I mean, the one at the very end was very good as well.
I think the longest cameo was the weakest one, though.
Yeah. I agree.
Sorry.
I agree. Although I can see why that particular person had the stipulation of what happened at the end.
Yes, I know, because that's what he wanted to have. Well, no, I guess we can't say that. No, we can't say that. But yeah, you do see pretty much most of the originals. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, we hit on the ghosts. What about the rest of the effects? You know, the particle beams.
I thought those looked badass, especially in 3D.
I actually liked the sort of the mines that were setting things off. I thought those looked kind of cool.
Yeah, because there's lots of new weapons, and that kept it fun.
All of Kate McKinnon's new gadgets were hilarious.
And she just kept coming with them, too.
The shredder was cool.
Almost every other scene was like, all right, I got new toys for you guys. And it's like,
she was like the Q for Ghostbusters world.
Big time.
If you guys are Bond fans at all.
I really enjoyed all of those things. The other thing I was waiting for the whole, like, don't cross the streams.
Yep. Yeah, there were a couple things. See.
I wanted it to be said just because.
There's a couple things we did get. There's a couple things we didn't get. Unfortunately, we got a couple things we really didn't need
Back
in
to the
some of the
bag.
cameos. Yeah, and the mixed bag. Go ahead. What specifically are you thinking of?
Well, I don't know if we should completely spoil it.
Not spoil it, but. What were there other things that you didn't like about it besides just?
I mean, if we're going to continue about the effects, it was at the very end when you finally see the big bad. I did not like the look of it, and it was just weird and silly.
I mean, here's the thing.
It was almost like a merging of old ideas with new ideas.
It was. But here's the thing: was he really any less menacing than the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was? And that's, here's the thing. Ghostbusters 2, let's come up with an actually scary, sort of big finishing thing. Because listen, original Ghostbusters, great. If you love it, fine, I understand. I like it well enough, but the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man ain't the biggest and best of the finales that you can come up with. And that Zool goes the same with here. Yeah, but Zool wasn't the bad guy that they kind of fought. Zool was the cool one. Yeah. And then they set Zool aside and brought in the Marshmallow Man. It's like, well, why would you sideline the cool player? Yeah. Like, that's the thing. We need cool Zool. Yeah. And who knows what might happen in the sequel. Stay to the end, guys.
Yeah, I actually totally preferred the bad guy in the second film, the
Beagle,
Beagle, and the ooze and all that. And lots of critics were hating on that when looking back at the first two films.
I love both of those. I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those fans that doesn't mind.
I like one better than two by a long shot, but I don't hold them. I don't hold either one as holy grails.
I'll tell you what. If they're on TV, I'm watching them. Yeah. That's just the way it is.
I'll keep scrolling.
Yeah. Wow. And
I'm a big fan of the Ghostbusters. Even this one, I would love to have this on the on the TV. Well,
and that's where I was going to wrap it around with saying, don't hate until you watch this movie.
Yeah, make up your own mind for sure.
Because I definitely would never. I even tried to get out of watching this.
We dragged her to it
like 3 or 4 times, and finally I was like, okay, all right, let's get it done. And I'm so happy that I went because I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
there were some funny little jokes.
There were
a lot of funny little gags and asides, and then there were a couple that went a little far.
Like I said, went back to the mixed bag. They hit and miss, but when it hit, it was good, and I enjoyed it. I did.
And for the most part, we got some of the same music.
That's the thing that
was
I
the worst
hated.
detractor. Yeah, it was kind of distracting every time you actually.
Sorry, Ray.
Every time you actually notice the music, it pulls you out of the movie right away, and it's like that's not good.
With a good thing. That thing they should have just kept the original music. I guess they couldn't, but. Yeah.
No, well, they had parts of it in there, but then they also redid it with Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott, and it's just like facepalm.
No, so, yeah, like you can't. The original Ghostbusters song. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that pretty much covers our thoughts on Ghostbusters. We're not going to do a spoiler section. Go watch it yourselves and make up your own minds, and then come back and let us know in the comments what you thought of it, or let us know in the comments if you think you're going to see it based on what we say, or if you're hearing different things. But thanks very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime Fuego.
And I'm March Parker.
And until next time, remember,
stay scared.